Did the Trump administration just change mail voting forever? What if I told you that one court decision made today could reshape how millions of Americans vote by mail in future elections? While most people were focused on headlines about politics, a major legal battle involving the United States Postal Service, or USPS, quietly took a dramatic turn. Supporters say it's about protecting election integrity. Critics warn it could make voting more complicated for millions of eligible Americans. So what actually happened? Why does it matter? And could this change the way future elections are conducted? Let's break it all down. A federal appeals court has temporarily allowed the Trump administration's proposed USPS mail ballot policy to move forward while the legal fight continues. It's important to understand that this is not a final decision on whether the policy is legal. Instead, the court has allowed parts of the plan to proceed for now while judges continue reviewing the broader case. Even though this sounds like a technical legal development, its impact could be significant because it involves one of the most widely used voting methods in the United States, mail-in ballots. To understand why this story is making headlines, we first need to look at how mail voting normally works. Every election cycle, millions of Americans vote without visiting a polling station. Military personnel overseas, elderly citizens, people with disabilities, college students, and many other voters rely on absentee or mail ballots. Traditionally, the Postal Service simply delivers election mail. It doesn't decide who should receive a ballot or whether a ballot is valid. Those responsibilities belong to state and local election officials. That separation has been a long-standing part of the American election system. The Trump administration's proposal would introduce new procedures involving the Postal Service. Under the plan, participating states would provide USPS with voter information related to mail ballot eligibility. The Postal Service would use that information as part of handling certain election mail. Supporters argue that these measures could help ensure ballots are sent only to eligible voters, reduce administrative errors, and strengthen confidence in election security. They believe additional verification steps could improve the overall integrity of the mail voting process. The legal battle has moved through several courts over the past few months. Earlier rulings temporarily blocked implementation of the policy, while lawsuits challenged its legality. Now, the appeals court has changed that situation by allowing the administration to proceed temporarily during the ongoing litigation. This does not mean the administration has won the case. It simply means the courts have not yet reached a final decision, and more hearings are expected before the issue is fully resolved. Depending on future rulings, the policy could ultimately be upheld, modified, or blocked altogether. This case has also reignited a broader national debate over election security versus voter access. Supporters of stricter election rules often argue that stronger verification measures increase public confidence and reduce opportunities for fraud, even if documented cases of widespread mail ballot fraud have historically been rare. On the other hand, advocates for easier voter access argue that making voting more complicated can discourage participation, especially among groups who already face barriers to voting. These competing priorities have shaped election debates across the country for years and are likely to remain central issues in future elections. Political leaders from both major parties have reacted in predictable ways. Republican officials supporting the administration described the court's decision as an important step toward improving election security. Democratic leaders and voting rights advocates, meanwhile, argue that the policy risks unnecessary federal involvement in state-run elections and could create new obstacles for lawful voters. The disagreement highlights how deeply divided opinions remain over election procedures in the United States. For everyday voters, the immediate impact is limited because the legal process is far from over. Existing voting procedures in most states remain unchanged while the case continues. However, election officials are watching closely because future court decisions could influence how mail ballots are processed in upcoming elections. Anyone planning to vote by mail should continue following instructions provided by their own state or local election office, since election rules can vary significantly from one state to another. The bigger picture extends beyond this single court case. Questions about election administration, federal authority, state responsibilities, and voter access have become some of the most closely watched legal issues in American politics. Whatever the final outcome, this lawsuit is likely to become an important legal precedent that could influence election policy discussions for years to come. Whether people support or oppose the proposal, few disagree that the final ruling will attract nationwide attention. As the legal battle continues, one thing is clear: today's court decision is only one chapter in a much larger story. More hearings, more legal arguments, and possibly even review by a higher court could still lie ahead. Until a final judgment is issued, uncertainty remains, and both supporters and critics will continue making their case. What do you think? Should the Postal Service play a larger role in verifying mail ballots, or should election administration remain entirely in the hands of state officials? Share your opinion in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. If you found this video informative and want more clear, unbiased updates on US politics, world affairs, and breaking news, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.